What is up, everybody? I'm HoopsandHipHop, and boy oh boy, I just barely got done watching the Pokemon Sword and Shield Direct. We just got so much new footage, information, just literally a ton of information was leaked, or I guess revealed to us just now, and in today's video, I am going to go ahead and not only give you guys my impressions, my reactions of everything that we just got, but I'm also going to give you guys a breakdown of everything we got, give you a little bit more insight into it, give you a little bit more analysis, and maybe point out some things that you did not see yourself. We're just going to go point by point, frame by frame, in order of the trailer, and just talk about everything that this Direct had to offer. I am so excited about it. I really think this game looks amazing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So the first scene that we see in this trailer, by the way, this is going to be a little bit unscripted, and obviously the editing's not going to be quite as up to par just due to the quick kind of on-beat nature of this video, so I apologize for that. But the first thing we see in the Direct, or in the trailer, are some kind of cinematic shots of the game in the Galar region itself, and these honestly look amazing. They really show you the depth of the region. They show you kind of the culture and just the, I don't know, just how good the region looks overall, and I really get a cinematic feel for them as well. Like, that was what I honestly thought. That's the impression I got from a lot of these scenes that we saw of the game itself, that it had a real, just like, really nice cinematic feel to it. And I even got kind of like a Breath of the Wild type feel from some of the scenes as well. We started off obviously with a smaller town, and then we got that bigger industrial town that's kind of like the steampunky type thing. At night, you can see just lots of like NPCs and everything. We got a really nice view of, I have honestly no idea what this town is. I'm honestly not even really sure where it is on the map, but obviously you can sense the scale of it. It looks just incredible and huge and amazing. We actually get a glimpse of our rival, who we will get into later when it's highlighted later on in the Direct, but I think he looks really cool. I think he looks, I mean, he does not look like a cocky, like, arrogant rival like everyone wants, but he doesn't look like a full-on, like, I'm gonna be your buddy type of rival either. The one thing I did notice in this initial scene that is kind of disappointing is that we see the player character have a Grookey, and then the rival character, whose name I guess is Hop. They talk about that later in the Direct, and I've just got to say, apparently, I guess I'm going to give it away now, this guy is the son, or not the son, the brother of the champion, who we will also talk about later, which I think is such a cool dynamic to have your rival be the brother, the younger brother of the champion. But at the same time, his name is Hop. Like, how am I supposed to get intimidated or, like, hyped up to defeat a guy named Hop? Like, that is the worst possible name they could have ever picked, and I would really love to know why they chose it. But anyways, the thing I noticed about this battle in particular that we're looking at in this first shot is that the player character has a grass type starter in Grookey, and then Hop has the water type in Sobble, so the player character has the advantage, which is really honestly disappointing. That's something they've been doing in the past couple Pokemon games. They did it with Sun and Moon, obviously. They might have done it with X and Y, I can't remember, but basically it's just a way to make the game easier, which is really annoying. That's a small thing that they could have fixed from Sun and Moon, but I mean, not the end of the world, I guess. And then we go on, we see kind of just some other just random shots. We see them, I guess it's probably the scene where you pick your starter, and I gotta say, like, anyone who is hating on the graphics of these games can honestly go eat a sack of potatoes or something, because it looks incredible. We're gonna be getting into the truly best part of the trailer in terms of the graphics in a minute, but these games just look amazing, from their scope to their style, like to the models of the Pokemon. The models look really nice. Like, if you are saying that this looks like 3DS, like, yeah, it looks like the 3DS games in terms of art style, but in terms of graphical fidelity and quality, there's just no match. Like, the scale of these games, just the polish of them just looks absolutely incredible. And then next up is where we get some kind of, like, I guess cinematic geographic shots of different parts of the region, and this is where it really gets incredible. This is where like I got the Breath of the Wild vibes. This scene in particular, where we see the player character in front of the big like Dugtrio statues that we've seen on the map, once again just shows you the quality, or not the quality and the scale of this game. Like, you can see truly how the player character is just tiny compared to this giant statue, or this giant kind of like, I guess, like building that's dedicated to Dugtrio. It just really gives you a sense of scale, and really kind of makes the world feel like it's a real like living, breathing kind of just like immersive world, because everything is just kind of so much grander in its appearance. And we get just a variety of locations. We get to see a brand new character who is later in the trailer revealed to be the assistant to the actual professor. Her name is Sonia, and this is kind of like a reverse situation to what happened in Black and White, which is ironically the only other time we got a female professor, because the professor in this game is a female, and the only other time we got a female professor is in Black and White, where she also has an assistant in her father who is old. But in this game, we have the professor, who is a female, who is old, and her assistant is young, and it's her daughter. So it's kind of like a flip-flop with the only other game we've seen a female professor, which is kind of ironic and funny. It would be interesting to know if that was intentional or not, but yeah, very interesting. I think it definitely is kind of refreshing to have a female professor, because this is only the second one we've ever got. Really cool. And I was also pretty much like correct on terms of what she researches, because according to later on in the trailer, Professor Magnolia, as she is called, is researching the Dynamax phenomenon, or the Dynamax feature that we see in this game, which I'll get into in a minute, but that's pretty much what I predicted, so that's pretty cool. But before we actually get into the reveal of the Pokemon themselves, we get to see another just amazing cinematic moment where we get introduced to, I guess, what is called the Wild Area. And it seems like what the Wild Area is essentially a big hub in the game for some features that people have wanted in the game. Like they mentioned in, like, first of all, let's just go through this. This first scene where we see kind of like the camera open up to the area is just incredible. We get to see Pokemon roaming through this. Once again, Breath of the Wild vibes, absolutely beautiful. And we see Pokemon roaming in the overworld. We see like just like a variety of different shots and like day, night, weather, like whatever. We see so many Pokemon, and then we actually get to see Pokemon roaming in the overworld while the player is playing. And basically what is going on here is this area is just a huge area that has all these different types of kind of like geography areas, from desert to grassland to kind of like swamp area to forest. Like, it's got so many different things, and Pokemon are in the overworld, and that's kind of what this area is designated to do, is to give us those features that we've really wanted as Pokemon fans, like obviously Pokemon in the overworld, and then there's also a free camera, which is amazing. That is something I've wanted for so long in a Pokemon game, is to have a free 3D camera, and in this area we have it. But because they designated, though, like they specified these things were like in this area, these features were in this area, that indirectly tells us that it's not in the rest of the game, which honestly, like, while it's like understandable to be kind of disappointed about that, I personally think it's reasonable, because if you look at the scope of this game, you look at just how big it is and like the environments and everything, it's obvious that there's a lot going into this game in terms of graphical quality, all that type of stuff. So to limit the more intense type of things, like having to have Pokemon in the overworld and a 3D camera, which isn't intense, but like just kind of having those things designated to an area as opposed to the whole game per se, I think is a nice kind of I think that's a nice middle ground in terms of what we want versus what we can actually get, especially because this is the very first game on a home console. So personally, I'm okay with that, especially because it looks like this area is huge. They said in the trailer themselves that it's going to be like the biggest area for wild Pokemon in the game, so it looks like there's going to be a ton to explore. And then another thing we actually see in the trailer in this area is the player on the bike. So that announces the return of the bike, which we did not have in Sun and Moon. So that's just an amazing like kind of return to form, if you will. And it even kind of looks like we get like what looks to be a water bike where you can ride in the water, which I assume is to allow you to kind of encounter the wild Pokemon that appear in the overworld in the water, which is incredible. Like, I am just so beyond excited for this. We also see a new feature that's related to the new Dynamax feature, where it's essentially like a Pokemon Go raid battle, but in these games where you group together with either local friends or online friends, you battle a giant Dynamax Pokemon. Once again, we'll get into that in a minute, and you work to take it down, and at the end you can catch it. They did say that some Pokemon in the wild area will basically be exclusive to like Dynamax battling, and you have to beat them before you can catch them, which is kind of interesting. It's obviously kind of a way to encourage the online play, which is fine. But yeah, I think it was kind of a nice, interesting way to like sort of incorporate Pokemon Go, even though it's not directly like attached to Pokemon Go. It doesn't seem like. But yeah, like just really, really interesting stuff. It kind of reminds me of Totem Pokemon as well, because the Pokemon end up giant. They end up huge. So kind of a mixture of that. And then just kind of moving on. Like, they're making this a big, like, this is a big thing, because they definitely pulled out all the stops in terms of the cinematics for the Dynamax feature. And then we actually get to see the Dynamax feature in action, like legit in battle, because we get to see the grass type gym, just like the inside of it. We get to meet the gym leader of this grass type gym, whose name is Milo, and we also get to see one of his new Pokemon, which we'll get into in a minute as we go through the trailer. But essentially we get to see the Dynamax feature in action, which essentially is kind of like a one-to-one replacement of Z moves, because basically how the feature works is you can only use it once per battle. It lasts for 3 turns, and it's not like a move, but basically like it powers up your Pokemon a bunch, and you can use like super powered moves like in this form that you couldn't outside. So it's kind of in a way a blend of kind of like Mega Evolution and Z moves. The one thing I'm not really a fan of is the fact that the Pokemon just like get huge and don't really change their forms. I think that's kind of just like meh, lame. I think it's kind of corny that they turn huge and like that's it. Obviously it's another situation of they want to include every Pokemon. They want to give every Pokemon the ability as opposed to select few. But I just think that it would have been cooler if we would have got select Pokemon that change their form when they can use this ability and not grow huge, because I don't know. I obviously they're kind of going with the whole scope thing there, but I just don't really think that's necessary per se. And then finally, we actually get out of the first part of the trailer, so that's nice. And we get to see a ton more just environments and locations. Like, I just really think this game looks fantastic, to be honest with you. And without further ado, I think we're about to get into the new Pokemon part of the trailer here as I'm scrolling through. And first thing I want to say, they announced James Turner, he's basically the first Western person to ever have designed a Pokemon. He came to the franchise with Black and White. He's actually the art director for these games that was announced, which, like, honestly, good for him. Like, that's awesome to see him kind of like go up through the ranks in Pokemon. I think that's really, really cool. But yeah, then we finally get introduced to the new Pokemon of these games. We have, first off, the sheep Pokemon Wooloo, which honestly, I was expecting a sheep Pokemon just because of the region being based on the UK. I think Wooloo looks great. I want to preface all of these Pokemon kind of reveals as I talk about them by saying that the 7 Pokemon we have seen so far, I think all look fantastic. Like, they look like exactly my type of Pokemon in terms of the look of Pokemon I like. They all look insanely creative and well designed, so this is extremely promising in terms of the quality of Pokemon we have to look forward to. Once again, I think Wooloo looks great. Kind of looks like a cross between Furfrou and Mareep in a way, but I think it looks awesome. Then next up we have Gossifleur, which I just think, once again, looks fantastic, really well designed, really well thought out, really creative. I honestly gotta give Game Freak a 10 out of 10 on the Pokemon designs that we've seen so far. They look amazing. This Pokemon's basically kind of like, it's got its flower, but then it's got obviously like the hair look. I just think it looks incredible. Next up we have Dreadnought, which from the way James Turner described it, sounds like it's at least part rock type. It obviously could be part water because it's a turtle. It could be, I mean, maybe grass. We don't really see it in water, so maybe it could be grass, but definitely like part rock or part ground. And obviously it's a snapping turtle. Apparently it's a really tough Pokemon to catch and to train. Once again, just looks incredible. I cannot say enough about how good these Pokemon look, and that's probably the thing I can appreciate the most about any given Pokemon game, is how well thought out and designed the Pokemon are. The 7 Pokemon we've saw up to this point look incredible. They look amazing. Like, I am completely beyond ecstatic about how they look. And then the next Pokemon we see is actually particularly key. First off, it's called Corviknight, the Raven Pokemon, and I think it looks really cool. Like, it looks really intimidating, really kind of just like tough, and just, it looks awesome. It's particularly big, so it's either a final evolution or a standalone Pokemon. I'm gonna guess it's a standalone Pokemon just because they mentioned that this Pokemon is basically going to be the Pokemon that kind of like flies you around all over the Galar region, which is another interesting thing because that shows that their HMs are effectively gone, because they've designated a Pokemon as like the fly Pokemon, which I don't know if that means ride Pokemon are returning, but this definitely confirms that HMs are not really going to be a thing, which is obviously refreshing. Yeah, so once again, just 10 out of 10 design. Holy crap, like, I am just beyond ecstatic. And then we actually get to see Gossifleur's evolution, and it evolves into a Pokemon called Eldegoss. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And once again, fantastic. I love it. I love how it kind of turns from a young type of like girl looking Pokemon to more of an elder Pokemon, hence the name Eldegoss, and it's kind of like cotton. It's got like the cotton hair, kind of like beehive, like sort of hairstyle going on, which is really great. It definitely reminds me of kind of like that royalty, like English royal family type of look. So that is just fantastic. I cannot tell you how excited I am about the new Pokemon. They look so great. And then once again, we get the highlight of the wild area. We see, like I talked about before, we see wild Pokemon just roaming all throughout. We see a bunch of different like locations and different types of weather effects, and just, it really looks like this isn't just going to be an open field. It looks like it's really going to be kind of like a mini world within the world of Galar, and really I think I think it's going to be like the go-to area for the trailer, or for the game, to be honest, just because of the scope that is shown here, just the amount of just like awe-inspiring, just beautiful like looking gameplay, especially with that 3D camera. I think the fact that there's a 3D camera is incredible. I'm glad that they included it, even if it was only for a little bit. Like, I'm just so excited. And then they actually get into the Dynamax feature. We already talked about that, so we're going to skip it once again. Like, I feel like the feature could be better, especially with like the Pokemon turning giant. I feel like a form change would be better. But it seems like it is at least going to be better than Z-moves, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Next up we get introduced to the champion, who previously I said the rival Hop was his younger brother. The champion's name is Leon, and it looks like he actually has a significant role in this game, because not only did they introduce him, which I can't remember the last time they introduced a champion like in the early parts of pre-promotion of new Pokemon games, but they just came out straight out and said he's the champion, he's the best trainer, and they showed him like not only in his like obviously his element, his stadium or whatever, but they showed him in a variety of locations. So he's going to be out and about. He is going to be a part of the story for sure, significantly. Kind of reminds me of Cynthia in a way, where she was out, she was involved, like she was doing her thing. It's very interesting to note that it looks like Charizard is his signature Pokemon, and it's always kind of like out with him. So, I mean, maybe that signifies Pokemon following you, because his Charizard is always out. Can't say for sure on that, but I mean, it doesn't discount it, so it's something to take note of. And it's also very interesting in that because this is the champion, that's a signature Pokemon, could we be seeing some type of new thing going on with Charizard? I know the Armored Evolution thing was thrown around. I really hope it's not that. I don't think that's real, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. And then scrolling on, we talked about Hop already, worst name ever, but the one thing that is interesting in this sequence with Hop is that we actually see the player character and Hop sitting on a train traveling from one place to the next, which kind of coincides with my prediction about being able to do things inside the train. I mean, obviously this could just be a cutscene, but I'm hopeful that it means there's more to do in the trains, because obviously at least they have the interior of one of the trains modeled. That would be great if we actually got to do things inside of them. I think he looks really cool. Like I said earlier, I think he doesn't look like the type of guy that's like a jerk, but he doesn't look like a pushover either. He kind of looks like one of those middle ground rivals like Barry or Charon or Hugh even, that's kind of just kind of like a balance, which like I can live with, I guess. It's a nice like compromise. So I'm fine with that. And then we get introduced once again to the grass type gym leader Milo. I'm really glad that I feel like overall they showed us a good amount to really feel like we know more about the game without showing us too much, because once again, only got 7 Pokemon out of the 5, which is not too much more than I predicted. We didn't even get introduced to the evil team at all, which is really refreshing. We got a couple, obviously, gym leader, champion, professor, but nothing like too crazy. And then finally they saved like arguably the best for last. We got the 2 box art legendaries, which are indeed wolves, so that can be put to rest. Definitely thought that was going to be the case, and sure enough it is. And we have, their names are Zacian and where did it go? Where's his name? Oh my gosh, Zacian and hang on guys, I'm a terrible PokeTuber. I am a terrible PokeTuber. So we got Zacian and Zamazenta. That's what they are. I apologize. Overall, I think their designs look really good. Like, I'm really happy with them, other than one thing. I hate how Zamazenta, the sword Pokemon, I believe that is Zamazenta, always has that sword in its mouth. Like, I really don't like how it's got that inanimate object thing that's not even really part of its design, but obviously, like, they designed it that way, so it's just going to perpetually have that sword in its mouth. I think that's kind of lame. I don't really like that. I would have preferred if it was on its back or something like that, or just incorporated into its body differently. But overall, I think they look really good. I think they look really nice. Once again, 10 out of 10 on the designs, other than that small, like, kind of annoyance with the sword. Especially for both being wolf Pokemon, I think they look really good. I just cannot say how excited I am for these games alone, just based on the quality of the Pokemon designs. I really hope they don't show us too much, because I would love to find a bunch of these amazing Pokemon designs, like, blind in the game. Like, that would be incredible. They announced the release date of the games as November 15th, showed the box art. Box art is kind of like simple and clean, like all Pokemon box arts are, just shows off the legendary Pokemon. I really like it a lot. I think it's cool. And they announced it as November 15th, which is actually a week earlier than I predicted, which obviously not going to complain about. And speaking of the box art and the release date, I am actually going to be doing a giveaway on Twitter for a copy of each of these games. It's going to be a worldwide giveaway. I will need a little bit of time after this video goes up to kind of set it up, but basically it's going to be over on Twitter. I'm going to eventually put a tweet up later in the day today that basically all you have to do is follow me me and like and retweet that tweet. It'll be the giveaway tweet, and you'll be entered to win a copy. So be sure to check me out on Twitter and follow me for that as soon as it goes up. But basically, that is all we got in this trailer. Obviously, Hefty, I don't know how long I've been running. 26 minutes, okay. We definitely need to wrap up here, but it was a 15-minute direct, so can't blame me, I guess. But overall, I'm so excited. I think they showed the perfect amount. I am extremely hyped about the Pokemon, extremely hyped about the world, extremely hyped just about how good it looks in general. I am so excited. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know all your reactions. Let me know just what your favorite thing was, what you're most excited for. And once again, check me out on Twitter for that giveaway if you want a chance to win a copy. I will be back tomorrow with another Sword and Shield related video. I don't know what it's gonna be about, to be honest. I'm gonna develop videos and work on stuff throughout the day, so we'll be back for that. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any Pokemon news or any just Sword and Shield coverage at all, because I'm going to be doing a ton of that on the channel now that we have news to talk about. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting the video with the predictions yesterday. It means so much to me. And yeah, with all of that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and work on more videos because I've got a busy day ahead of me. So I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. And until the next one, as always, I will smell you guys later.